Namaste and hello. I met a young woman about a week ago and told her a few of my thought seeds, and I directed her to my YouTube channel where I have several of my thought seeds posted, and it was made obvious that I need to remake those videos and give an updated version of my thought seeds. I call them thought seeds because it's normal, very obvious information that we've been given in school a lot of times, and but it just wasn't made clear to us the full extent of the possibilities involved. So here is thought seed of perfection. Are you aware that you are perfect? I can prove this. You are indeed perfect. Now, if I had a rock here in my hand that didn't exist anywhere else in the universe but right here, it had never existed anywhere else and never would again, that rock would be priceless, would it not? And if it grew legs and jumped up and danced around, we'd be totally amazed by it, but it would be the perfect thing for that rock to do because never been seen before. How are we supposed to know what it does, right? Isn't that just like you? I mean, think about it. In all the history of the universe, has there ever been another you? You're the only one, as far as we know, correct? So just like that rock, by your own admission, if you're playing along, you're absolutely priceless. And by your own admission, anything that you do is perfect for you. Now, what makes us think that we're not perfect? You're not a perfect your mom, dad, society, culture, religion, education. You're only a perfect you. But whoever taught you how to be that? And how could they, since you're the only you that has ever existed? The best that someone could do is teach you how to be someone else. In other words, how to play the game of society. Well, you can't be somebody else because they're busy trying to be somebody else. Every time you try and be somebody else, you fail. You fail enough times, you get that voice in the back of the head that says, maybe I'm not good enough. But in order to judge perfection, one has to know all the facts. There is a concept of perfection, and then there is actually perfection. Perfection is what is. This is what is. There's nothing wrong with it. If I hold a picture, sadly I don't have a picture. I have no pictures within range. But if I hold a picture, one of those printed pictures up, we can say that the picture's not perfect, but something needs to be added or something needs to be taken away. But the thing is the picture is already present. It's already been. The past, as far as we know, can't be changed. So therefore, what we actually are witnessing by anything that we can become aware of that has already happened is perfection. In the experience, there is a concept of imperfection. It should be something else. Without knowing the end result, how can we say that is so? Perhaps this is just one more step to the process. So, all the people I mentioned earlier spent their time teaching you how to be socially acceptable, how to live the game of playing in society. But they didn't teach you about you. They didn't teach you about your basic fundamental nature. There's two definitions of perfect that I am familiar with. One is absolute perfection. There's no negativity or no whatever. That means all growth has stopped. So you might as well just lay down and die, because why be alive? The second one, a kitten is a perfect cat, right? It's just not done growing yet. Your basic fundamental nature is absolute perfection. It's no mistakes, no flaws. You're starting from right here and moving forward. Your past doesn't matter, because unless you bring it into the future, it just is back there. If you're staying aware and staying present in this moment, staying aware of the sensations and the emotions and the thoughts, and not getting caught up in the content of the thought or the apparent outside cause of an emotion or something of that nature, you recognize that the very basic fundamental nature of everything that we see, everything that we do, is perfect for that moment. Now, I was heavily abused as a child by my father, and I also recognize the perfection in that. However, that's part of a different thought seed, so I will make another video for that. But anyway, since we are all perfect in our very basic fundamental nature. Oh, by the way, if you still doubt this, at what point does a child become flawed? Is a baby flawed? Is a toddler flawed? At what point does it become flawed? So, now what to do with that? Well, for one, you can use it as a bedrock of your own understanding of letting go of judgment of others. There's a difference between discerning and judgment. My definition of those two words: judgment is a concept. Judgment is something is good or bad. That's not that's strictly a point of view. It's a thought pattern. Discernment, I see it as being skillful or unskillful. An action is skillful if it leads you in the direction that you wish to grow. An action is unskillful if it leads in the opposite direction or some other direction from the direction of growth. So one might say, well, what about murderers? Well, what about murderers? From the viewpoint of basic fundamental nature. Well, I'll get into that another time. That's a little bit more than for now. But even they are perfect in the fundamental nature of who they are. Their actions are extremely unskillful. If our intent is to receive positivity, to promote compassion, to grow as a community, to grow as a nation and as a world and as a species, then murder is not a skillful action. And because of the fact that we do live in a social circumstance, we want to protect the social integrity of the environment, or at least give people the opportunity to find their own way. And things like murder, that one has to create a sense of separation and a high level of ignorance to do something of that nature. And so that, yes, they must be stopped and taught a different way. Sadly, the American prison system doesn't do that. But again, I digress. In any case, discernment. Is it skillful? Unskillful. Judgment. You're good. You're bad. In any case, at the very base of who you are perfect. You were created perfect. You were created as a child, growing into an adult, growing into an old person, growing into whatever comes next. We haven't reached the end of this yet. We haven't reached the period in the sentence. So therefore, we don't know how the sentence will end. Perfection or imperfection in the social sense is assumed based on a thought that we know what the end result is going to be. We don't. So, Let go of the thought that you are not perfect. That's just wasted space. It's like carrying a 20-pound weight in your arms all the time. Why bother carrying it? There is no value to it. Let it go. Accept yourself. You are who you are at this moment. And in another moment, you won't be who you are right now. You'll be somebody else because more activity has happened, more experience has happened. You've gained, you've grown. Allow yourself to grow. A child fumbles. Not just a child. When I first learned how to do this, well, I'm doing it real slow, but when I first learned how to do this little trick right here, and I can do it faster with a little bit of practice and getting my hands warmed up and whatnot. But when I first learned how to do this, I dropped it almost every single time. Over the years, I've gotten better at it. That's growth. You're still growing. Allow yourself. Allow others to grow. So that's it for this thought seed. I will put another one up very shortly. Namaste.